In the richest country on earth, why can't the average person afford a place to live anymore? Over the past decade, the cost of buying a house has skyrocketed, and even renting isn't much easier. If you're wondering why it's so tough to afford a home today, let's break down the issue and see what's really going on. First, let's compare how things were 10 years ago to today. Back in 2015, the national median home price in the US was around $200,000. Fast forward to today, and that number has more than doubled to nearly $400,000. That's a huge jump, especially when you consider the average household income hasn't grown at the same rate. In 2015, the median household income was about $55,000, and in 2025, it's only slightly higher at around $70,000. That's a significant gap between what people are earning and what they need to afford a home. Now, why has this happened? The biggest factor is supply and demand. Over the last decade, the US has faced a shortage of homes. Developers simply haven't been building enough to meet the growing demand, especially in major cities where the population keeps growing. What's being built tends to be high-end, luxury homes that only a small percentage of the population can afford. So, the middle class and first-time homebuyers are left with fewer options. But the problem doesn't just stop at home prices. Rent has also become unaffordable for many. In 2015, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in a city like New York or San Francisco was around $2,000 per month. Now, rent prices in these cities have jumped to over $3,000 per month for a one-bedroom apartment, and in some places, the increase is even higher. In fact, rent has been rising faster than wages, and it's causing many renters to spend more than half of their income just on housing. This leaves little money for other things like food, healthcare, and savings. So, what's causing all of this? First, we have the housing supply shortage. There aren't enough homes being built to meet demand. Developers are focusing on building expensive properties because they're more profitable, which leaves fewer affordable homes for the rest of us. Cities are trying to fix this by relaxing some zoning laws to allow more affordable housing and multifamily units, but it's not enough to make a big dent in the problem. And even when affordable housing is built, it's often not enough to meet the growing demand. Another big factor is the rise in interest rates. In 2015, mortgage rates were around 3.8%, making it easier for people to afford a home. Fast forward to today, and mortgage rates have more than doubled to about 7%. What does this mean for homebuyers? A $300,000 mortgage in 2015 would have cost you about $1,400 per month in payments. But today, the same mortgage could cost you closer to $2,000 per month. This makes it much harder for people to qualify for a loan and keep up with payments.
For many first-time homebuyers, this means they have to take out larger loans or give up on the dream of buying a home altogether. It also means they're often stuck paying higher rent because they can't afford to buy. In fact, around half of renters today are considered cost-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income just on rent. That's a serious financial burden for most people. So, what is the government doing about it? Well, there have been some efforts to address the housing crisis. Programs like the American Rescue Plan provided some relief to struggling renters and homeowners during the pandemic, but they didn't solve the long-term problems. In recent years, cities have started to relax zoning laws and encourage the building of more multifamily housing. But this takes time. And even when affordable housing is built, it's often still too expensive for many people. Another possible solution is tiny homes and co-living spaces. These alternatives are becoming more popular in some areas as people look for ways to live more affordably. With more people working from home, some are even moving to rural areas where housing is cheaper. However, these options still don't solve the bigger problem of how to provide affordable housing for everyone. Now let's look at the future. Can we ever afford a home again? It's hard to say for sure. The truth is, if things keep going the way they're going, homeownership might stay out of reach for many people. The gap between the wealthy and everyone else is growing, and the dream of owning a home may remain a distant reality for a lot of Americans. That said, there are some signs of hope. If policies change and if more affordable homes are built, we could start to see things improve. Some experts believe that prices will stabilize over time as demand slows down and more homes are built. But even with these changes, it's clear that the housing crisis will be a major issue for years to come. In the end, affordability is the key. We need to find a way to make housing more accessible for everyone. This means building more homes, making sure wages keep up with the cost of living, and improving the way we approach housing in the US. So, can we ever afford a home again? It's possible, but only if big changes are made.
Until then, the housing crisis will remain one of the biggest challenges in America.
If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about important topics like this, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel, The Human Lens. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.